I hope what it does is it motivates anyone who doesn't have a vaccine to get a vaccine. I don't think it's going to change behavior to a great extent. I think people are done, I am, with being in a cave, right? Hiding from the rest of the world. They want to go out, they're going to have fun, they're going to go to restaurants. You're going to see a massive, in my view, economic boom. On the margin, there'll be some people who are afraid, some people who are afraid of getting a vaccine, and they're therefore afraid of going out. But I think we're going to have an extremely strong economy come the fall. I think people are going to return to work in September. And I think companies are going to insist on vaccines, and I think it's a good thing. And, I have, even some people in my own company that I would say probably 3 people who haven't gotten a vaccine. And, in one case, sort of a philosophical objection or maybe a religious one. And, my question is, you take antibiotics, you take other drugs. If you can take an antibiotic for some other kind of infection, why won't you, have a vaccine? And would you rather? And other people are concerned about the risk, and the risk is, in my view, a lot greater that you get COVID than if you look at the side effects from getting.
So what's going to be the Bill Ackman policy at the office?
Vaccines.
What's going to be the policy? So for those 3 people who haven't been vaccinated.
Yeah, so I'm doing my best to convince everyone who hasn't gotten a vaccine by being convincing, and then by the time everyone comes back to work, we'll decide what we're going to do about our vaccine policy.
Also want to ask you just more broadly.
93%. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about inflation and both the inflation that we are seeing, maybe some of the supply chain issues that are creating some of this. The big question is this the new normal, or is it transitory?
I'm in closer to the new normal with respect to many sources of inflation. So one, I think inflation's understated. There's very, very significant they talk about home equivalent rents or ownership equivalent rents, and those are really understated. If you look at what's going on in the housing market, we have a housing boom. Talk to a home builder, it's on allocation. You have to, and have a friend who knows the CEO in order to buy a home. So you're seeing housing prices go way up. I think the way the data is collected for the kind of CPI or other inflation numbers really understate what's going on in housing, and that's approaching a third of inflation. So there's housing inflation. There's real wage inflation. One of the big issues, and I think this is not a transitory thing at all, which is recruiting, trying to get people to come work in a hotel, work in a restaurant. I think it's harder now because of some of the stimulus. I think it'll be a little bit easier come September. But a lot of people made sort of life choices and various things. I think you're going to have to pay people to come to work, and I think that's actually a big positive. It's probably a long-term positive for the economy. So you've had $5 trillion of stimulus. You have an increase in wages. You have a lot of savings. You have the stimulus of a lot of people being vaccinated around the same time. All of these things lead to massive, massive economic growth and demand, and we still have an extremely accommodative Federal Reserve. So I think rates are going up. I think rates are going up